After winning $25 million in the lottery, a woman skillfully exacts revenge on her unfaithful husband by covertly gaining control of his company and manipulating his career, leading to a stunning revelation of her dominance in both their personal and professional lives. Nicole Anderson stood in the modest kitchen of her suburban home, her hands trembling as she clutched the lottery ticket. The numbers on the TV screen matched hers, each digit confirming the unbelievable truth: she had won $25 million. Her mind raced with excitement and disbelief. For years, Nicole and her husband, Brandon, had struggled with finances, their dreams persistently out of reach. This windfall felt like a lifeline, a miraculous turn of fate. She couldn't wait to tell Brandon. Imagining his reaction, a mixture of shock and joy, brought a smile to her face. He had been working late nights at a tech startup, chasing a dream of making it big in the corporate world. Nicole often felt lonely in his absence, but she supported him unconditionally, believing in their shared future. As the evening sky darkened, Nicole prepared Brandon's favorite meal, humming to herself. The dining table was set with their best china, a bottle of champagne chilling beside it. She wanted everything to be perfect for the life-changing news. The sound of Brandon's car pulling into the driveway sent a rush of butterflies through her stomach. She took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart. He entered the house, looking tired but flashing a smile upon seeing the spread. "Wow, what's the occasion?" Brandon asked, hanging his coat. "Just wait," Nicole beamed, her eyes sparkling with unshared joy. They sat down to dinner, and Nicole could hardly contain herself. As they ate, she observed Brandon, his familiar gestures, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled. She loved this man, with whom she had built a life full of ups and downs. Tonight, she believed, would mark the beginning of an incredible up. Finally, unable to wait any longer, Nicole reached for the lottery ticket and slid it across the table. "We won, Brandon. We won the lottery." Brandon's expression shifted from confusion to astonishment as he picked up the ticket. This is real?" "Yes." Nicole laughed, her heart swelling with happiness. "It's $25 million, Brandon. Our lives are going to change." They embraced, a whirlwind of laughter and tears, discussing what they could do with the money. Paying off debts, traveling, maybe even a new house. The possibilities seemed endless. But amidst the celebration, Nicole noticed Brandon's phone continuously buzzing. He glanced at it, his brow furrowing. "Everything okay?" Nicole asked. "It's just work," he replied, quickly silencing the phone. But there was a hint of unease in his eyes that Nicole couldn't ignore. Later, while Brandon was in the shower, Nicole's curiosity got the better of her. She picked up his phone, intending only to silence it. But as she did, a message flashed across the screen that made her heart stop. It was from a woman named Emily, and it was unmistakably intimate. Confusion and dread washed over Nicole. Her hands shook as she opened the message thread, each message a dagger in her heart. There were dates, endearments, plans made in secret. The evidence was undeniable: Brandon was having an affair. Nicole felt the room spin around her. The joy of the lottery win evaporated, replaced by a deep, searing sense of betrayal. She sat there, the phone heavy in her hand, as a cold resolve began to take shape in her mind. Brandon had betrayed her, but she would not let this destroy her. She had $25 million, and with it, the means to make him regret ever deceiving her. Nicole's tears dried, and a new, unyielding determination took hold. The game had changed, and she was now the one in control. The days following the lottery win were a blur for Nicole. She moved through them like a ghost, her mind a tumultuous mix of pain and planning. The knowledge of Brandon's betrayal gnawed at her, but she wore a mask of normalcy, waiting for the right moment to act. Brandon, oblivious to Nicole's discovery, was caught up in his own world. He talked excitedly about the potential uses for the lottery winnings, not realizing that Nicole's plans had drastically shifted. Her dreams were no longer aligned with his, they were now focused on retribution. Nicole sought legal advice, setting up a trust to manage the lottery winnings. She wanted to ensure that her new fortune was protected from Brandon's reach, especially since she hadn't confronted him about the affair yet. Her lawyer, an astute woman who immediately sensed Nicole's distress, offered not just legal guidance but also a sympathetic ear. With her financial foundation secured, Nicole began her carefully crafted revenge. She had always been intelligent and resourceful, qualities that Brandon had admired but never fully appreciated. Now, she used these attributes to orchestrate a silent takeover of the company where Brandon worked. The company, a rising star in the tech industry, was Brandon's dream. He had often spoken of climbing its ranks, of one day leading it. Nicole remembered these conversations, once filled with shared hope, now tainted by betrayal. Utilizing a series of shell companies, Nicole started buying shares in the company. She meticulously researched and executed her plan, ensuring that her identity remained hidden. Through savvy investments and strategic acquisitions, she soon held a significant portion of the company's shares. With her financial clout, she subtly influenced company decisions, her presence unknown to those, including Brandon, who were affected by them. Meanwhile, Nicole maintained her role as the supportive wife at home, all while her inner turmoil raged. She watched Brandon, analyzing his every move, word, and expression. His moments of distraction, the secretive glances at his phone, stoked the flames of her resolve. As the weeks passed, Nicole's influence in the company grew. She learned the intricacies of its operations, the challenges it faced, and the key players in its hierarchy. Her moves were calculated, ensuring that her control increased without drawing attention. One evening, as they sat down for dinner, Brandon shared exciting news. He had been promoted, a step closer to his dream position. Nicole congratulated him, her heart aching with a mix of sorrow and grim satisfaction. He didn't know that it was her maneuvering that had opened the path for his promotion, a path that would lead him to a destination he did not expect. "Everything's falling into place," Brandon said, smiling at Nicole. "We're finally getting what we deserve." Nicole nodded, a tight smile on her lips. "Yes, we are," she replied, her voice steady. In her eyes, there was a glint of something new, a steely resolve that had grown in the wake of her heartbreak. As Nicole retired to bed that night, she reflected on her journey so far. She was no longer just the betrayed wife, she was a woman in control, a silent puppeteer orchestrating a grand scheme. The days of innocence were long gone, replaced by the cold, hard game of revenge. And Nicole was playing to win. In the corporate world of high stakes and higher ambitions, Brandon Anderson was riding high. His recent promotion at the tech startup had been a welcome surprise, a validation of his years of hard work. He was unaware, however, that the strings of his fate were being pulled by the very person he had betrayed. Nicole, with her newfound power as a major shareholder, observed Brandon's career with a mix of detachment and precise calculation. From her vantage point, she influenced decisions subtly, ensuring that Brandon's path was fraught with challenges that appeared natural in the cutthroat corporate environment. Her first move was to influence the appointment of a new project manager, someone known for their rigorous standards and unyielding deadlines. This person was placed directly under Brandon, turning what he thought would be a straightforward project into a gauntlet of high expectations and tight turnarounds. Brandon began to feel the pressure. His nights were longer, his work more demanding. He confided in Nicole about the difficulties, unaware that she was the architect of his challenges. Nicole offered comfort, all the while gathering information about the company's dynamics and Brandon's state of mind. Meanwhile, Nicole expanded her influence beyond Brandon's immediate sphere. She used her position to advocate for policies and decisions that would indirectly affect his work, such as budget reallocations and shifts in strategic priorities. These moves were subtle enough not to arouse suspicion but significant enough to add layers of complexity to Brandon's role. The boardroom became a chessboard for Nicole. Each move was calculated, each decision a part of a larger plan. She attended meetings through virtual proxies, her identity still concealed, her insights and suggestions carrying the weight of her substantial shareholding. One particular board meeting was pivotal. A decision was to be made about the direction of a major project, one that Brandon was deeply involved in. Nicole knew that the project's success was crucial to Brandon's aspirations. She steered the conversation, through her proxies, towards an alternative strategy, one that would require a complete overhaul of Brandon's work. Brandon came home that evening, a look of frustration etched on his face. "They're changing the direction of the project," he said, throwing his briefcase on the table. "Months of work, and now they want something entirely different. It doesn't make any sense." Nicole listened, offering words of support. She watched the conflict in Brandon's eyes, a mix of anger and determination. She knew she was pushing him to his limits, but she couldn't afford to let her emotions cloud her judgment. This was about justice, about making him understand the depth of his betrayal. As the weeks passed, Brandon became increasingly absorbed in his work, his stress levels rising. Nicole observed him, her heart heavy with a complex blend of sorrow and resolution. She had once dreamed of his success as their shared triumph. Now, his struggles were a silent testament to her unspoken revenge. In the solitude of her home office, Nicole reviewed her plans. Each step was leading to an eventual, unavoidable confrontation. She knew that the revelation of her identity and her role in his career would be a defining moment. Until then, she would continue to maneuver in the shadows, a ghost in the machine of Brandon's world. The game of corporate intrigue was far from over, and Nicole was determined to play it to the end. The balance of power in the Anderson household had shifted, though only one of its members was aware. Nicole, once content in the role of supportive wife and mother, had embraced a new identity. By day, she was the familiar face Brandon and their children loved and relied on. But by night, in the quiet of her home office, she transformed into a shrewd business strategist, wielding her influence over Brandon's company with precision. This double life was not without its challenges. Nicole felt the strain of her secret, the weight of the deception she was forced to maintain. She missed the simplicity of their past, the shared dreams and laughter. But the betrayal had changed everything, and there was no turning back. Her role in the company had grown significantly. Nicole's decisions were impacting not just Brandon but the entire corporate structure. She had become a shadowy figure in the industry, her true identity still a mystery to those she influenced. Her careful planning and insightful strategies were praised in board meetings, her suggestions shaping the company's future. Nicole found an unexpected sense of fulfillment in this work. It was more than just revenge, it was a realization of her potential, a potential that had lain dormant under the routine of domestic life. She discovered that she had a natural aptitude for business, a keen mind for strategy, and an ability to see the bigger picture. This revelation was both empowering and bittersweet. At home, she watched Brandon struggle under the pressure of his job. He was working harder than ever, his dreams of climbing the corporate ladder now a relentless uphill battle. Nicole's heart ached to see him like this, but she reminded herself of the pain his betrayal had caused. This was the consequence of his actions, a lesson he had to learn. Their conversations at home became a delicate dance. Brandon shared his frustrations and ambitions, not realizing that Nicole held the key to both. She offered support and advice, masking her intimate knowledge of the inner workings of his company. As Brandon's career became more demanding, Nicole took on more responsibilities at home. She balanced her secret role in the company with the needs of their children, ensuring their lives remained as normal as possible. It was a juggling act that required immense strength and resilience. Nicole's days were long, and her nights were longer. She often worked into the early hours of the morning, analyzing reports, planning her next move, and keeping abreast of every development at the company. Her home office became her sanctuary and her command center, the place where she transformed her pain and betrayal into power and control. Despite the challenges, Nicole felt a growing sense of confidence. She was no longer the woman who had naively trusted Brandon. She was now a force to be reckoned with, a hidden hand guiding the fate of a major tech company. As the months passed, Nicole knew that the moment of revelation was approaching. The day would come when she would step out of the shadows, revealing herself as the mastermind behind Brandon's altered career path. She anticipated this moment with a mixture of dread and anticipation. For now, she played her dual roles to perfection, waiting for the right time to unveil the truth. The double life of Nicole Anderson was a testament to her strength and ingenuity, a journey from betrayal to empowerment. The day of reckoning had arrived. In the crisp, cool air of an early morning, Nicole sat in her home office, her heart a tumultuous mix of emotions. Today, she would reveal her secret to Brandon, expose the depth of her betrayal and the magnitude of her revenge. It was the day she had been meticulously planning for months, yet as it dawned, she found herself grappling with a storm of feelings. Brandon, oblivious to the impending upheaval, prepared for an important board meeting. He was under the impression that today's meeting would cement his position in the company, possibly even lead to a promotion. He kissed Nicole goodbye, his mind preoccupied with thoughts of his presentation. Nicole watched him leave, a sense of finality washing over her. Once he left, she took a deep breath and began her own preparations. Dressed impeccably, she looked every bit the powerful businesswoman she had become. Her reflection in the mirror was that of a stranger, a far cry from the woman she was before the lottery win, before the discovery of Brandon's infidelity. At the company headquarters, the boardroom was abuzz with anticipation. Today's meeting was set to discuss major strategic shifts, and Brandon was at the center of it. He felt confident, ready to showcase his vision for the company's future. Little did he know that the real game changer was about to walk through the door. As Nicole entered the boardroom, a hush fell over the room. Her presence was commanding, her demeanor calm yet assertive. The board members, who knew her only as a significant but anonymous shareholder, were taken aback by her sudden appearance. Brandon's face went pale as he saw Nicole. Confusion, shock, and a dawning realization played across his features. The room was thick with tension, the air charged with unspoken questions. Nicole took her seat at the head of the table, her eyes meeting Brandon's. There was no anger in her gaze, only a resolute clarity. She began to speak, her voice steady and confident. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for gathering today. I believe it's time for some truths to be revealed," Nicole said, her eyes never leaving Brandon's. "I am the major shareholder who has been influencing the company's direction. And I am also Brandon's wife." The revelation sent a shockwave through the room. Murmurs and whispers filled the air as the board members processed this unexpected turn of events. Nicole continued, outlining her journey, from the moment she won the lottery to her discovery of Brandon's betrayal, and her decision to use her winnings to gain control over his career. She spoke of her actions, not with spite, but with a sense of justice, of righting a wrong that had been done to her. Brandon sat in stunned silence, his world crumbling around him. He had lost not just his wife's trust but also his grip on his career ambitions. The realization of Nicole's power, her intelligence, and her resilience hit him with full force. As Nicole concluded her speech, the room was filled with a new understanding. The board members looked at her with a mix of respect and awe. She had played the corporate game better than any of them, and she had done it from behind the scenes. The meeting ended with decisions made and strategies planned, but for Brandon, it was more than just a business meeting. It was the end of his deception and the beginning of a new reality. Nicole left the boardroom with her head held high, her mission accomplished. She had exposed the truth, reclaimed her power, and reshaped her life on her terms. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: Nicole Anderson was no longer a victim of circumstance, she was a master of her destiny.